shoving faith down our throats, and I'm sick of it. So you guys don't faith? You don't pretend to know shit you don't know?
Yeah.
You get all of us here.
I don't know anything. That's
Nice to meet
just
you.
existing.
I'm a fellow I don't know.
Yeah.
So how'd you come to not faith?
I think I just learned about evolution.
It kind of went like,
Yeah,
where'd God go?
It kind of made sense.
Yeah? Okay.
Or I think like morality too. I'm like, wow, God is not a nice person.
You were raised Christian, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so just tell me in your own words why you think I might be right about faith is killing us.
You live your life differently if you're believing in something that is going to save you. So I guess you live less in the moment.
Okay, yeah.
Go ahead. My thing is people can use faith to justify a lot of things that are morally incorrect. You can, if you do something with yourself as the person in power, then you have to hold yourself accountable for whatever you do. If you do something with faith as you're backing it, then you can just justify it. I don't need to think this through. I can just do these things, and this is what God wants. This is what needs to happen, and then you can end up committing atrocities and not even thinking them through.
Faith caused 9/11. Faith caused the Crusades.
Yeah, and that applies actually whether you think it was the Muslim terrorists alone or America was involved, because as far as I'm concerned, piety and patriotism are both faith. Either way, the government people are like, wait, how is patriotism faith? Well, you're believing that the government is out for your good with no evidence whatsoever. We have plenty of evidence to say it's an independent entity, separate from you. Although it's made up of us, it's separated from us. It wants to survive regardless of the individual, right?
Yeah.
So it's out for its own. It's not out for you and me. And it makes no sense for us to go across the water to go kill people for something we don't even understand.
100%, man.
Everybody knows. So anyway, okay, so I started coming out here because of the Christians walking up and down the street, passing out flyers. Do you know who they are and what they're all about, what they're doing?
No.
Okay, so this
Missions.
is church on the street, carrying a cross on wheels. They clearly don't get the concept.
It's cheating.
Right?
100% cheating.
Yeah, they don't get the concept at all. But here's why. Most of those guys are doing this to avoid jail time or fines.
Really?
Literally assigned from court to do community service. Now, in the first place, it's obviously not community service, right? But what are they doing? Let's look at their actions and what happens with it. They're passing out flyers, right? Where do those flyers come from? That's paper. That's trees, right? They're cutting down trees. Where do those flyers end up?
The trash on the road.
All over the place. Some of them make
I
it
sometimes
to the
used to
trash.
collect them. I used to collect them.
I've been collecting
I
them
never
for a
read
long
them, but I
time.
collect them.
I'd love it if you'd help me out and just bring them to me, because they're going to get them back one day. Right? All screwed up and with the stripper bookmarks inside them, right? I mean,
I take up on Jesus.
You seriously have bookmarks and books everywhere, and they're like opposing each other. It's hilarious. Anyway, so this is a corrupt system. This is free slave labor for the church, right?
Yeah.
I'm like not even
Separation of church and state, right?
Well,
I mean, what's going on?
What is that, right? In God we trust. What are you talking about? Piety and patriotism are both faith, and they're all wrapped up together. You get it?
Yeah.
No, it's a simple problem. So where is faith killing us today? Can you think of any examples yourselves, maybe?
Middle East.
Middle East? Why the Middle East? What's going on there? You know,
People
act
ISIS.
like I'm stupid.
People cutting each other's heads off. Cutting infidels' heads off. I don't know. There's that shit going on between Palestine and Israel. I don't know too much about it. But.
Yeah. From what I hear, most people getting stoned over there are getting stoned for, not being religious enough.
I would rather get stoned in California.
Absolutely.
Colorado, maybe. But
Right. Yeah.
to each his own.
I mean, there's really no argument.
Yeah.
There's really none.
Yeah.
I mean, so people say, well, faith is keeping me alive. Exactly how? Exactly how is faith actually doing you any good at all? What do you get out of faith that you can't get out of something else? This is where I'll play the Jeopardy music, right?
I mean, something to live for in a way, almost. It's like it gets you out of bed in the morning, keeps you going throughout your day, it just gives you something, you know. Because there's people who have nothing.
How does that give you something to live for?
I mean, some people just have that because they come from everyone has different backgrounds. It's fucking how many people are in the world right now? Like 7 billion.
7 billion. 7 billion.
Yeah.
2 or 3.
Yeah, so you can't convince everyone, but yeah, you can try to reason them with them, but in a sense, people have come from different backgrounds, and their faith is the only thing that can help them throughout the day.
Right. Okay, here's a question. And think about it for a second. Do you think that faith and reason are similar, related, opposites?
I don't know. People overestimate their ability to be reasonable and to be logical. I mean, at our base, we are emotional beings, and we put as much not faith. We put as much trust into our logic as into our faith and into our intuition.
Well, I think you're right about a lot of people. There's a
Yeah.
lot of atheists who didn't get there by reason. They got there because they're angry. And Christians love to use that. And these are the convertible atheists. If you got there through reason, though, there's no going back.
Yeah.
It's like Sam Harris is saying, I don't know if you know this guy.
I love Sam Harris.
He's saying, you don't have a choice about what you believe.
Yeah.
You come to the facts, you face the facts, you have no choice but to keep going forward with facts.
Yeah.
Once you start reasoning, it's like you're just going to go down this road and there's no turning back. I don't understand how Christians think they could turn me around, other than they just don't think about it.
The main issues I have with a lot of religions nowadays is I think it's just one huge game of telephone. Like when I growing up as a guy, I used to go to church. I used to go to the Mormon church a lot because my grandma took me there. But I would hear the stories of Noah's Ark and Abraham sacrificing I forget who it was. But,
Britney Spears.
Britney, there you go. And all these stories, it's where was this on Disney? This sounds. I knew at a young age this was kind of fake, but all these adults were oh no, this is real. Adam and Eve did talk to a spooky snake and ate an apple, and I'm this sounds ridiculous, but come to think of it, it's just a long game of telephone. You expect someone, I forgot who it was, but God gave him a message on top of the mountains that was hey, put this in a book right now. How do you know this guy was a schizophrenic back then?
It's so much worse. Let me tell you a little bit
And
about
people
that
believe
story.
this.
The details are terrible. So God's talking to Moses on a mountain, supposedly, right?
Moses, that's what it
And he
was.
says, look, I want you to go talk to Pharaoh and my people and get Pharaoh to let...
Jesus, take the wheel.
Watch out when that happens. So Moses says, well, I'm not very good at talking, or I don't want to. We're not really sure exactly what the hell his problem was, but he either had a speech impediment or he didn't like talking, something like that.
Maybe autism.
And they this is the weird thing. He's arguing with God. He says no, and God says yes. And he says no, and he says okay, fine. Your brother's on his way. He'll do it for you. So I'm going to tell you. You tell him, and then he'll tell the people and Pharaoh.
The best is getting mixed up anyway. Look,
Sounds
and
like
then,
something.
and then put it in a book, translate it 50 million times, and then it ends up here. It's what the fuck is this?
Right. And so they say that Moses wrote these books, right? And one of these books, I think it's Exodus. Yeah, Exodus is where he finishes off. It actually says, then Moses died. Moses wrote that? Right. Well, he must have resurrected like Jesus. Right. So here's another point. On the whole resurrection thing, the heaven thing, my opinion is, through science and technology, heaven is the future. We just resurrected a man. Did you hear about this? 5 weeks, a whole month ago, a man was frozen. First, his blood was removed and replaced with saline. He was frozen, dead. They operated on him and brought him back to life.
Really? Wow.
We've done it. We actually resurrected a man through science. Now show me any time between Jesus' supposed resurrection and now that we've documented somebody was resurrected other than through science.
How do we?
No, I don't. I didn't get his name. No.
I'd like to look that up.
Yeah, I mean, there's only one story, so you'll find it quick. Really cool. There's some YouTube videos and whatnot. I need to do some more research about it. It's so interesting.
I heard a couple years ago there was this man who actually had a full head transplant.
Okay.
Right. We've done that too. Yeah.
Have we done that yet already?
Yeah, we've
Because
done
I thought
that.
there was one guy
This
who
stuff is crazy.
tried to do it, but he couldn't
Oh, that's nothing. Have you ever heard? Did you hear about the one where they actually performed open heart surgery on a grape? Sorry. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So we got how many years of faith, right?
Since the beginning of time.
Since the beginning, right?
Yeah.
How many years of reason? Reason took hold. like the Enlightenment-ish, right?
1700s,
So the
yeah.
Greeks did it for a minute,
Yeah.
and even the Arabic
Sucked.
people, Islam did it for a minute.
Yeah.
Where we got most of the names for our stars. They were reasonable for a moment.
Yeah, we got our numbers from Arabia.
Well, technically, it was
Arabic
the
numerals.
Hindus, and the Arabs delivered.
You're
it to
welcome.
us. You're welcome.
I don't think it's the Son of God.
What do you think about him telling us not to wash our hands?
Who, Jesus?
Yeah, this is Jesus' words. He says, don't wash your hands, because it's not that which goes in your mouth that defiles you. It's that which comes out, because your heart is evil. It's, quote, word for word.
Wow, that's disgusting and crazy.
Yeah, I can't really figure out why the man, God, who created germ theory would be in denial of it. Or secretly laughing at us as we go around killing ourselves. Do you see what I'm saying about faith killing us?
Yeah. I guess
That's just one example.
I know there's other people going into wars for faith. And they're the same, like,
That's right.
branch. Like there's Catholics killing Protestants killing whatever. So
Well, let's not leave out patriotism. It's a form of faith.
it is a form of
You're
faith.
pretending to know that the government is out for your good.
Yeah.
And that's really obviously a matter of fact.
Well, people get nationalism and patriotism mixed up.